keep this on me for now, right now.
Uh-oh.
I was the one telling the people out here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, if they lost the first 2 football games of the season, would still be in the hunt to make a college football playoff. I talked to Joe Lisi quite a bit during the week, and you know what Joe Lisi's been telling me? Notre Dame just might be the best football team in the country right now, and I believe him. I do. Rolling over teams. The offense is out there right now, and I don't think anybody can stop them.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Is it going to be Gabriel over the next 4 or 5 weeks? Or is it going to be...
I know.
Is it going to, but that's where they're at right now. Because that mentality, changes. We go from rebuild at 1-3 to all of a sudden at 2-3, the bell goes off, and he in his head, probably drinking a beer at night, goes, hey, I can get this team to the playoffs.
You listen,
but that's the way these coaches think.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
So let's just start right there. Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, done for 2025. Think of the managers that invested the draft capital. Man, oh man, what to do?
Yeah, this is really tough. I had people message me, man, I had Neighbors and Hill, and I lost them both in the same week. That's tough. It's a tough day at the office for sure, and that's why you watch us here on FST, Fantasy Sports Today. We're trying to help you.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Top of the hour, Power right here on the early line. SportsGrid Network, Donnie right side, along with Joe Ranieri. It's what we do. We have 2 hours to get you in the know on a Tuesday morning to set up the rest of your evening today, which does include Major League Baseball and also NHL action, and then move forward to what's going to happen on the horizon, like Thursday Night Football in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Giants. Then we head into the weekend, which has a Sunday Night Football game, which is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. Much of that on the horizon. But for me, Joe, when you get older, you sort of find yourself as a fan where you wear it really on your sleeve, like early days, like teenagers, early 20s, maybe into your early 30s. But being a Philadelphia sports fan, like I've been blessed because I've seen 2 Super Bowls. That's all I need to see. But every once in a while, you're reminded that sometimes sports really can hurt you. Saturday, Sunday, and Monday in the city of Philadelphia haven't been all that fun when you're supposed to have a lot of fun and a lot of excitement, and it's just not happening, Joe. So for me, I use this as therapy. You come on and talk about sports. You be objective here. You look at the positives. Not a lot of positives in Philadelphia right now, Joe. Just not.
Well, you have the Flyer. No, you don't have them.
Oh,
either.
we do?
No, you're right. It's just gone. Are they even in the NHL still? I don't know.
Union, Joe. We have the Union.
The Union. That's a good point. See, not all is lost, Donnie. And you think you got it bad. I'm in South Florida where the biggest excitement here, thank goodness for the U, but is the Florida Panthers. This has become a hockey town, Donnie. South Florida is now a hockey town.
Look at that. Heading over to Sunrise, Florida, the place to be. Certainly not over there in Davie at the practice facility for the Miami Dolphins, as they might get blasted today. Who knows how long that coaching staff. So you take the goods and you take the bads and you put them together and you live your life. That's the way you do it here. Now it's time for the early lineup. The good and the bad, you saw it last night. Kansas City's offense, good. Taking a loss, bad. They're 2-3 on the season. But the Jacksonville Jaguars now have improved to 4-1 with a 31-28 victory over the Kansas City Chiefs, which saw Trevor Lawrence stumble. And by the way, Duval it is. Trevor Lawrence in the first half tries to jump over the pile on the goal line, gets the ball knocked out, and they absolutely go down 14-0, only to find redemption in, oh no, he's going to do it again. He fell. Get up. No, he fell again. Get up and score a touchdown. He did. And the Jags came away with the victory.
Maybe the craziest thing, Donnie, too, is it was his 26th birthday last night. And it feels like we've been talking about Trevor Lawrence for 2 decades. It's absolutely crazy. He turns 26 last night. and his team gets the win in the most inexplicable way. Certainly, it wasn't the defense who, although they got their 13th turnover of the season, Donnie, a pick six by Lloyd, the linebacker, who managed to outrun everybody on Kansas City for 99 yards. But the reality is they gave up almost 500 yards of offense. The big takeaway to me is Kansas City, the idea sticking a fork in them, thinking they offensively they're not any good. No, they are going to put up points at a very large clip the rest of the way here.
You know how you lose football games? Not by gaining 476 yards, not by averaging 7+ yards per play, which includes running and passing. You know how you lose it? 13 penalties for 109 yards and lose the turnover battle. You open yourself up to being lost, to losing games that way. And last night, the Kansas City Chiefs, they opened themselves to a loss, and they got a loss last night. Loss on the season here for Antonio Gibson. He's down for the New England Patriots, which means maybe much more of Ramondre Stevenson. But also understand this, huge win on Sunday Night Football, as we just talked about, for the New England Patriots. Soft schedule coming up over the next couple weeks. Vrabel's got this team moving in the right direction, even though they'll lose Gibson for the season.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Gibson. I mean, having that depth and the kind of utility guy that he was, right? Being able to return kicks, being able to go in there, catching balls out of the backfield. It's a big loss here. But Vrabel, listen, it's a very young team. He has got to try and keep this team as focused as possible. A lot of cupcakes on the schedule coming up, but you know in the NFL, if they take their eye off the ball, real easy to lose to Tennessee and New Orleans and those kinds of teams.
Kimani Vidal, Hassan Haskins. Donnie, why are you bringing up those names? Well, Omarion Hampton was supposed to be that bell cow. You drafted him high, an explosive player. He's now down for multiple weeks, heading to the IR with an ankle injury. Already a damaged backfield and a damaged offensive line. We're not even through the month of October, Joe. We're not even 2 weeks into October, and we can't even see the light at the end of the tunnel for the Chargers with these injuries.
Yeah, it's all. And again, I don't know. And, you know, we say it every year. We're kind of shocked, but it just feels like, you know, there's usually that one team every year that can't escape the injury bug, Donnie. But here we are 5 weeks into season. We have multiple teams that have absolutely been decimated by injuries here. And it doesn't look like it's getting any better. But the good news is, you still have Herbert. You still have all your weapons on the outside, and Harbaugh will figure it out there in order to tread enough water to hopefully get one of those guys back.
I'll tell you who we're going to be figuring out over the next couple of weeks or maybe years, a felony assault trial possibly on deck here for Mark Sanchez. Why? Because he couldn't just show up, go out, have a nice meal, have a cocktail, head back to the room, get a night's sleep here, prepare to call the game on Fox Sports. He ends up now looking at a 1 to 6 year prison sentence here for level 5 felony battery. And the story just gets worse and worse. Now, these are alleged details that are coming out right now, but every detail that comes out is sort of piling onto Mark Sanchez, and it looks like rightfully so. And apparently, we don't have official word from Sanchez, but the word getting back here, Joe, allegedly is he didn't even know and blacked out. That's not a defense. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's the quietness and the not trying to get out in front of this, because let's face it, I mean, the PR people, his agent, everyone else, they had to know what was coming here. And the fact that they have not to this particular point made any statement or counter statement to try and you know, give us their side of the story is very intriguing to me. I'll hold off judgment, Donnie, until I hear his. There's always two sides of the stories, right? So let's hear from Sanchez what his side of the story is.
Look, I can't imagine that the side of the story would be like, hey, man, this 69-year-old dude was swinging and throwing bombs on me. Like, I had to protect myself in any way possible. Then he pulled out a knife. This is a dude that's just earning a living here in a grease truck, going to a restaurant in the middle of the night to get the grease and just get home. And he ends up in a fight with Mark Sanchez. Sometimes these storylines just write themselves. I'll tell you another storyline that writes himself. Yeah, Connor McDavid, really good hockey player, and he's getting paid a lot of money, Joe.
Yeah, shocker that Edmonton would go into their pocket and pay the greatest hockey player of a generation. Really, I'm shocked that I thought for sure Florida would have signed him. But yeah, kudos to Edmonton for locking up the greatest player since Gretzky. Way to go.
John Morant, big money player in the NBA. Ankle injury, never a good sign to start the season, as they have high expectations for at least him playing basketball, not being injured and or suspended.
it's just amazing to me, Donnie. Like everything, every headline around Morant, it feels like has nothing to do with any sort of positive momentum about basketball. Anything else, it's an injury, he's in trouble, he's suspended. The guy's one of the most talented players in the association. I hope he can figure it out. I really do.
Exactly. I'll tell you who's figuring it out right now. The Los Angeles Dodgers go into Philadelphia and take the first 2 games of the NLDS as they head back to Los Angeles. And the one good part about this for me, Joe, is, which, by the way, let me just get the time frame on the next game. Oh, that's right. It's 9:08. I don't have to wait up for that game and see it finish out. I'll be fast asleep as the Phillies season ends on Wednesday night. How about that?
Well, listen, you hope, Donnie, right? At one game at a time, right? Now, granted, history tells us not great going down 2-0 in a best of 5, but you just got to win the next one. That's it, one game at a time.
Starting pitching here has been phenomenal, really, for both teams, but extra phenomenal for the Dodgers. You take a look at Ohtani. He did give up 3 earned runs, but carried that team. And then Blake Snell, sensational last night in his start. Tough times in Philadelphia. Let's also turn to the NFL. Eagles and Giants. Please, God, please.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Well, Shadur, which quarterbacks are you talking about? Because there is some bad quarterback play out there, but the dude who can't beat Dylan Gabriel out for a job and can't beat Joe Flacco out for a job certainly can't lay claim to being better than any other quarterback in the league.
The Craig Carton Show. Only on SportsGrid.
Major League Baseball has decided it is time to put balls and strikes not just in the hands of the umpires, but also the robot umpires, as they say. The ABS system is now officially in place starting next season. Now, keep in mind, they're not just throwing this out there. They have used this at the Arizona Fall League, and they've also used it at different levels of the minor leagues as well.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
That's a lot for a closer. 10. That's you're not a closer anymore if you blow 10 games. I mean, my goodness. That's
he's mentally broken too. Like, it's to the point where, like, Dodger fans aren't even mad at him; they're more mad at the Dodgers for putting him out there.
Putting him in,
right? It's more so.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, guys, like, he's done.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid. It's the most beautiful time of the year. No, not because of foliage or pumpkin spice lattes. It's because of football. SportsGrid has you covered all season long, covering every snap, every score, and every line move. Prepare, watch, win. Weekends are for winners. Only on SportsGrid.
NFL look ahead lines. Why? Money never sleeps in the NFL. Games are on the horizon, and that includes a game on Thursday night football from MetLife, the worst stadium in the NFL, which also, I'm going to bring up something fun here, Joe. It's Donnie Wright and it's Joe Ranieri. How about this headline? The Philadelphia Eagles, coming into this game, they have a couple guys banged up. Landon Dickerson leaves the game every single week, seemingly with some back injury / knee injury / ankle injury. He got injured in that Broncos game. Nick Sirianni talked about that yesterday. Before I get there, Saquon Barkley also. They didn't have practice yesterday, but there's always an estimated practice report on a short week that goes, if we did practice, would these guys have practiced? and Saquon Barkley wasn't going to practice yesterday with a knee injury. I saw him take a shot in that game against the Denver Broncos. Got up a little bit slow, but still finished the game. But Nick Sirianni said this, Joe. We have to understand, making the best decision for these guys, which includes the horrible turf at MetLife Stadium, which on a short week is never a good sign. The Eagles are favorite at 7.5 points on the road on a short week and 41.5. The Eagles are the better football team. There's no question about it. But the Philadelphia Eagles didn't play that well against the Broncos, expected to bounce back. But this is just an indictment of, I guess, how bad we think the Giants are. Got blasted by New Orleans. Sometimes these lines, I go, I don't know if I like that, but I guess it does make sense.
Yeah, well, the line makes sense. I mean, how many 5 straight possessions, I think, had to set a record somewhere in which they turned the ball over to Giants, which is, this will be growing pains. You want to start a rookie quarterback. You waited till week 5 to do it. Well, guess what? There are going to be growing pains, especially with a team that doesn't have exactly a ton of talent. But in the meantime, Philly's got some things to figure out here. And I don't know that I would ever look to Philly much beyond the first half of any game, Donnie, because that seems to be where they're the best. And then they haven't figured out what to do. I mean, they blew another 17-3 lead in the second half against Denver, and that seems to be a theme this year. So while I agree with the line, I think all the value with Philadelphia is bet them early, because I don't know what you're going to get in the second half anymore with this team.
Look, if I look at prop bets in this game, which I haven't looked at yet, just give me the chicken with his head cut off, otherwise known as Jackson Dart. He's probably going to run 16 times in this game. And also Cam Scatterbo will get at least 20 touches in this game. That's the way I would look, because I know those two guys are going to get high usage rates in this game. I tell you who has a high usage rate here. Baltimore's offense, not. They were terrible last week against Houston. Now come to town the Rams, who are also, Joe, 7.5-point favorites here on the road at Baltimore. We know, Joe, it's a week-to-week league. But I got to tell you, looking at the Ravens' defense and then coupled with their new-look offense without Lamar Jackson, is anybody rushing to the window saying, now's the week that Baltimore rises up at home? Not me.
No, I mean, listen, we just watched the Rams lose to a completely depleted 49ers team the same way. And now they've got a little bit of extra rest here, but they've got to fly across the country. To me, Donnie, this is shaping up to be, because I think the money will continue to come in on the Rams. But, once again, unfortunately, the value is on Baltimore here. And I think nobody's going to run to the window to take the points with Baltimore. But that would be the only look here, dog or pass.
Like they were, it's one thing, Joe, like, hey, you know what, Lamar's out. We lost 17-14 to Houston. It is what it is. We're not used to seeing Baltimore get embarrassed. I don't care who's playing. Like they won games with Snoop Huntley at quarterback. Like, it's almost like they're just autonomous. Like, doesn't matter. Next man up, it's the Baltimore way. Their entire defense was bad starting the season, and it got injured, so now it's even worse. And it's not like we could just hand off to Derrick Henry and everything's going to be okay. They tried that last week, and it didn't work at all. I'm interested to see where this line moves this week. And also, if any healthy bodies are coming back for the Baltimore Ravens on defense, we'll check in on that. 4:25 start, Tampa Bay, who's been so much fun to watch. One-score game, swashbuckling quarterback in Baker Mayfield. They're going to get a punch this week from the San Francisco 49ers. And also, TBD is listed at quarterback for the Niners. Are you rolling Mac in this game, Joe?
No, he's just as hurt now, I think, as Purdy, so not great. I would still rather Purdy be under center, but to me, with them, the question is, are you getting any of those receivers back? Is Jennings coming back here, right? Are they going to have anybody they can throw it? Yeah, Kittle, how far is he away? Ayuk, how far is he away? Like, I know reinforcements are coming for the 49ers, but as long as you have McCaffrey, and that defense showed me something against the Rams there, but having to travel, listen, it's not like Tampa doesn't have to travel. They were all the way out in Seattle, have to come home now and get ready for this 49ers team who has some extra rest. So I don't love the spot for Tampa at all here.
I feel like an over. Like, I just feel like Tampa Bay's destined for an over every week, because that's just the way it is. And Kyle Shanahan, you showed me some. I always talk about him being one of the best play callers I've ever seen. He showed me a lot Mac Jones and nobody on offense able to move the football against the Rams. Loved what I saw. How about Sunday Night Football? I love this game, Joe. A 50.5 total. A slight favorite to Kansas City. Detroit on the road to take on the Chiefs. Early weather reports, which is always key for that dome team. 76, 77 degrees, light wind, no real precipitation in the forecast. You take a look at this game, so much is on the line for Kansas City. We know Detroit's going to move the football. Under in this game, if you're betting it, you better bet it, set it, forget it, and shut your TV off. You're not going to want to watch this one. Sweat that out.
Well, it opened up 48.5, Donnie, and now we're at 50.5. So I don't think the under is in anybody's mind here. And who can blame? After what I saw last night from Kansas City, there is absolutely no way I'd be sweating out an under, especially with Kansas City at home off a loss. Yes, it's a short week, but my goodness, that offense is humming along. If they can clean up the penalties, which I believe we all understand they will, this could be the track meet of all track meets.
And you know what's the funny part about this, too, is Kansas City was so good on offense, and that was with a sort of hobbled Worthy. Maybe just gets healthy this week and they're full gas, and still waiting on Rashee Rice to come back. It's a fun team to watch. They might be getting back to those old Chiefs ways that we loved. Quicker scores make for more fun games and more wins for the Kansas City Chiefs. But if I'm looking at this entire slate, I can't wait for Sunday night to take place between Detroit and Kansas City. It should be an absolute fantastic one. You know what we have coming up next, though, Joe? We're going to take a look at a bit of college football. We're going to talk about those Miami Hurricanes there sitting at the number 2 spot. Big football games, which include Oregon and Indiana. Light up the scoreboard. The Sig is coming to town. And we'll talk about it next right here on the Early Line. Keep this on me for now, right now.
Uh-oh.
I was the one telling the people out here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, if they lost the first 2 football games of the season, would still be in the hunt to make a college football playoff. I talked to Joe Lisi quite a bit during the week, and you know what Joe Lisi's been telling me? Notre Dame just might be the best football team in the country right now, and I believe him. I do. Rolling over teams. The offense is out there right now, and I don't think anybody can stop them.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Is it going to be Gabriel over the next 4 or 5 weeks? Or is it going to be?
I know.
Is it going to, but that's where they're at right now, because that mentality, changes. We go from rebuild at 1-3 to all of a sudden at 2-3, the bell goes off, and he in his head, probably drinking a beer at night, goes, "Hey, I can get this team to the playoffs."
Listen,
but that's the way these coaches think.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
So let's just start right there. Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, done for 2025. Think of the managers that invested the draft capital. Man, oh man, what to do?
Yeah, this is really tough. I had people message me, man, I had Neighbors and Hill, and I lost them both in the same week. That's tough. It's a tough day at the office for sure. And that's why you watch us here on FST, Fantasy Sports Today. We're trying to help you.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
The Week 7 AP Top 25 poll is out. It's freshly minted here. And that number 1 team, it's no surprise, Joe Ranieri, it is the Ohio State Buckeyes. Number 1, the Hurricanes retake number 2, followed by Oregon, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M. some of the usual suspects up there, OSU, Oregon, Miami, trying to say we're back here in college football. Ole Miss, a great story with Mr. Kiffin doing damage. And there's Texas A&M hovering around there with Mr. Reed, a quarterback who's absolutely fantastic. I love the look of the top 5 right now. How about that?
I do. And listen, it's given the games that we're going to have coming up, this is going to, they're going to be jockeying for position when it's all said and done. The great thing, and we talked about it last week about Miami, is I think that with that win, that was the 3rd top 25 team that they have beaten when they played them here. I think that win, barring anything crazy, kind of already punched their ticket into a postseason situation this year. So kudos to Miami getting it done early and often. But I'm going to be real interested to see, will that top 5 still be the top 5 when we're doing this next week, Donnie? Because there are some monster games for these teams coming up.
It's great. It's so much fun. Love college football, and you're going to see a lot of big-time games this weekend again, which may be the biggest of all. Indiana and Oregon. Outson Stadium out there in Eugene. That's going to be center stage here. The look-ahead line, Joe, FanDuel at least, was minus 10.5 for Oregon. That's no longer the case. Minus 7.5, and some outlets even at minus 7 now as a favorite towards Oregon. This line has jumped up. That look-ahead price point of 51.5 as a total, I'm now seeing 55.5 across the board. This is going to be entertaining, exciting, and one of the best home field advantages in football could come into play, Joe. Indiana heads out to the Pacific Northwest to take on Oregon. What's your early look in this one?
Yeah, I think this is the game of the weekend because I think this means a lot to how this college football playoff landscape is going to shape up. Don't forget, it's not like Indiana wasn't there last year, right? Although that cupcake schedule, once they eventually played Ohio State at the end of the regular season, that wasn't great. And then, of course, Notre Dame kind of stuck, stepped on him, and that was it. But what else can Cignetti do? I mean, he's got his team ready to go. But again, at this point in the season, this is a different level that his team is about to face. Much like he didn't get to that level until he had to face Ohio State at the end of the year, Donnie, and then we saw what it was. He's going to see it now early in the season. We're going to have a really good idea of this Indiana team with their quarterback Mendoza. Should we be taking them seriously here, or is Oregon a cut above just going to expose them like Notre Dame and Ohio State did?
I got to tell you, got 2 head coaches aren't ashamed to stir it up in the media and tell you like it is. That's going to be a fun one because if one of these guys has a chance to rub in an extra touchdown, they will take advantage of it, and they will tell you all about it, of why they were slated during that week as well. A fantastic game on the slate here. Let's keep it there with the Big Ten, Ohio State and Illinois. Ohio State, not at home in the shoe. They're going to head to Champaign. 50.5 is the total, a 2-touchdown plus favorite for Ohio State as they go on the road to take on the Fighting Illini.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one too here. I mean, Illinois at home, but again, I'm not a big believer in Illinois at all. I think Ohio State's defense is going to be the difference in this game. I do not believe that Illinois' defense is going to be able to limit what Ohio State and Julian Sayin are going to want to do. I think defensively, though, and we've seen what happened. We saw what Indiana did to Illinois' offense, right, with pressure and a quality defense. Wait until Ohio State shows up there. I think we're going to get a kind of a repeat. Maybe not as big a blowout as Indiana was, but they are going to struggle to score the ball.
It's Julian Sayin. I don't think he's going to struggle against that defense. We'll see how it plays out here. Alabama and Missouri, SEC battle. Look ahead line, Alabama minus 6.5, dropped to 3 at just about every outlet, and a total between 52.5 and 51.5. The Crimson Tide on the road to take on the Tigers.
I want to see if this hits the key number 3. I mean, it's been all Mizzou money.
It's out there somewhere
early on here. All. So are we being head faked here, Donnie? Is all the Alabama money, which we all know Alabama money is coming in as this week gets a little bit closer. But will it get the 3 before that all starts come pouring in and we're back to 5 before we know it?
The sharps. Where's the scalping going to come in? Where's the buyback on Alabama at this point? We'll see how that cracks up. We're going to continue to talk more college football next and then hit the Major League Baseball card. It's a Tuesday on the SportsGrid Network, and this is the early line. Keep this on me for now, right now.
Uh-oh.
I was the one telling the people out here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, if they lost the first two football games of the season, would still be in the hunt to make a college football playoff. I talked to Joe Lisi quite a bit during the week, and you know what Joe Lisi's been telling me? Notre Dame just might be the best football team in the country right now, and I believe him. I do. Rolling over teams. The offense is out there right now, and I don't think anybody can stop them.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Is it going to be Gabriel over the next 4 or 5 weeks? Or is it going to be?
I know.
Is it going to, but that's where they're at right now, because that mentality, changes. We go from rebuild at 1-3 to all of a sudden at 2-3, the bell goes off, and he in his head, probably drinking a beer at night, goes, "Hey, I can get this team to the playoffs."
You listen,
but that's the way these coaches think.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
So let's just start right there. Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, done for 2025. Think of the managers that invested the draft capital. Man, oh man, what to do?
Yeah, this is really tough. I had people message me, man, I had Neighbors and Hill, and I lost them both in the same week. That's tough. It's a tough day at the office for sure, and that's why you watch us here on FST, Fantasy Sports Today. We're trying to help you.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
SEC, Joe, it just means more. We're going to head to the plains of Auburn. That's the Auburn Tigers. They're going to take on the Georgia Bulldogs this weekend. That line opened up at 3.5. Do you know where it still sits here on a Tuesday morning? 3.5 and a low total of 45.5. A lot of respect here, looks like, for Auburn at home at Jordan-Hare. Can Georgia go in there with Kirby Smart and play well? And also, what's up with that low total? We're not used to these low totals. What's going with you? Is this the old SEC back in the early 2000s?
Well, I mean, what does Cam Ward say? Jackson Arnold is, yes, that's exactly what he is. And so is this offense. And as many athletes as they may have on there, they are not, he can't throw the ball down the field. And that's the problem. So Georgia's defense, although not one of the better ones that Kirby Smart has had over the last couple of seasons, they are still more than capable of limiting Jackson Arnold and this offense here. They run the ball well, but I don't know that you're going to run it all that well on this Georgia defense. It comes down to me as to which offense do you think, Donnie, can make enough big plays. Gunnar Stockton, to me, has shown that he can make some big plays here. I'm not a believer in Jackson Arnold. I think Georgia can get this game done. I would not be shocked if more Georgia money starts hitting the books here as we get closer to kickoff.
I'd rather have Jackson Arnold than Arch Manning at this point right now with all the disappointments for the Texas Longhorns. They're going to take on their rival Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry at the Cotton Bowl. And Texas, after losing to Florida last week, still a favorite in this game. The look-ahead number was 3.5. That's dropped to 2.5 at just about every outlet, and another really low total of 42.5. Is this the last stand for Arch Manning and being a starter with Texas? Goodness.
I don't think so. I mean, we got to remember the guy, the expectations that were put on a kid who had only had a couple of games It's like, come on, settle down. I mean, the guy's still got 3 years eligibility left here, all right? And by the way, it's not like it's not all of this has been his fault here for this team. Having said that, this is one of the greatest rivalries in all of college sports right now, but I got to know, what is John Mateer's status? Is Oklahoma starting a backup quarterback, or is Oklahoma going in with Mateer, who's already had the surgery, right, on the thumb, seems to be good to go here? What is he playing? Is he not playing? I would wait to find that out before I did anything in this game, because if he is playing, this line is changing.
Oh, no. How unfair, Joe Ranieri. Michigan's going to have to get on a plane and travel to California. There's no way we can win. How do you expect Big Ten teams to travel hundreds, if not thousands of miles and try to be able to win a football game on the road? Michigan takes on USC, and the favorite here are the USC Trojans at -2.5 at just about every outlet, and a total, thank goodness, 57.5. You love to see that. Can the young, talented quarterback of the 15th-ranked Michigan Wolverines handle their business? Or is this SC as a favorite? And yes, they should be a favorite here.
Not all that impressed with Michigan at this point here, but this is exactly the kind of game and situation that, listen, USC offensively is going to put up points. I mean, a ton of points here. This offense is one of the best in the country. I still think, as talented as that young quarterback of Michigan is, it's still a work in progress. I don't know that Michigan is built on it to get into a shootout here with USC, with Lincoln Riley. I would be willing to bet they don't, and I'd be willing to bet that USC wins this game here.
SC at home, Lincoln Riley, let's go. We'll see it pan out there, but a really good week of college football. Nice little preview on a Tuesday morning right here on the Sports Grid Network. And now we flip it over to Major League Baseball. We got a day-night doubleheader today, a 4 o'clock start between Seattle and Detroit, and then an 8 o'clock start between Toronto and the New York Yankees. Let's start with game number 1, 9:03-9:04, a 1-1 series as we head back to Detroit. Seattle salvaging at least a win at home by knocking off Tarek Skubal. Gilbert's on the mound for the Mariners today, and the Tigers running out Jack Flaherty. A total that's listed at 7.5, and a favorite towards Seattle, who's the road team, at about a -135 price. If we look at the weather conditions tonight, rain is expected in the forecast with winds blowing out between 10 to 12 miles per hour, but cooler temperatures, Joe, that'll be in the high 50s during this game. A weather impact, which is the way it's supposed to be in October baseball.
Yeah, it is. And, it's Seattle's first trip, I think, out of the West Coast since, September 20th, maybe 21st? Been a hot minute since they have left the confines of their house or the Western time zone. And by the way, they weren't exactly great in the second half on the road, Donnie, Seattle. I don't know why they didn't use Logan Gilbert in one of the first 2 games at home, given the fact that his home road splits are night and day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2.24 at T-Mobile Park and nearly 5 away. But I don't trust Detroit's bats one way or the other, no matter who throws. Now, they were better at home, but they too haven't played there, it feels like, in a hot minute too. So it might be a little slow go early on in this game between these two teams, but I do eventually believe runs will probably be coming in this one.
Weather impact, and also understand that start time. You know what happens. The shadows start to creep in at this time of year. We'll see if that makes an impact. That's 7.5 total. We'll see how that one turns out. No bigger game on the season for the New York Yankees. Why? They lose, they go home, and in their own building, changes are going to be made. But the Yankees, once again, at home, are heavily favored. Opening line, -148. Line where it sits now, anywhere between -152 and -156, depending on where you're shopping at. And a total, which opened up at 8, dropped to 7.5. It's Bieber on the mound versus Rondon. The one thing that we do know is that bats have really come alive here for Toronto at home. Now they go on the road to the Bronx. Weather conditions, as we check, Joe, between Seattle and Detroit, not so great. Weather conditions in the Bronx, 72 degrees. No precipitation, and winds blowing out double digits to left field. How about that?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, Donnie, because, again, we pointed it out all season long. Toronto, fantastic at the Rogers Center. Mm-hmm. The problem is if you watch Toronto at home and then you watch them on the road, you'd be like, who is this team? This doesn't look anything even remotely close to the team that I just watched at the Rogers Center. And that's been the story all year long. They are a different team on the road than they are at home. And I think the Yankees, the best thing that happened to them in that second game blowout was it didn't end up 13-1. The Yankees bats finally started to swing and come alive. So if they can build off of that, Rodon has been the stopper for them all year long in this kind of spot here. Bieber, when is the last time he pitched? It feels like it's been a hot minute, right? The 26th against Tampa. That was the last time he has been on the mound. For a guy like Bieber who came off the IL, you know, they're creatures of habit, Donnie. You know this. For this guy not to have pitched for this long, it could be advantage Yankees early in this one against Toronto, and it needs to be.
Take a look at since August the 1st. Shane Bieber's got 40 and a third innings pitched. X has the lowest XFIP of the starting pitchers on the card today at 3.35. The man with the highest XFIP on the card since August 1st, it's actually Carlos Rodon at a 4.14. If you look at the ERA, but you know, has the best. Here's where the analytics creep into it. Carlos Rodon is the best ERA of the four starting pitchers on the card today, but the worst XFIP number. So something's going to have to give. But the one thing I look at the Toronto lineup, they're just crushing baseballs right now, and I think there's a lot to do with it. And also sometimes where, you know, you hear about in the NHL, right? Hey, struggling power play. We'd rather be on the road. Well, why is that? Because the crowd's yelling, shoot, every 2 seconds, as opposed to us just making the best pass. The reason I bring that up is you don't think the Yankee fans, they are there to see a victory. We go through 3 innings and it's 2-1 Toronto. All of a sudden, that tide starts to turn. Superstars get booed and the crowd wants blood. We'll see if that pops up tonight. Any thoughts on the Yankees crowd turning against them tonight, Joe?
It depends how it goes. If they're down 8-0 after the third inning, you probably want to leave. Yeah, you probably don't want to be wearing a Yankee uniform at that point. But again, depends on how this shapes up early and often with Rodon.
Booney could be out of a job by midnight tonight. 2 games on the docket today, but coming up next is Adam Kaufman. Let's see who he likes tonight in this Major League Baseball atmosphere. We'll be right back. Keep this on me for now, right now.
Uh-oh.
I was the one telling the people out here, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, if they lost the first 2 football games of the season, would still be in the hunt to make a college football playoff. I talked to Joe Lisi quite a bit during the week, and you know what Joe Lisi's been telling me? Notre Dame just might be the best football team in the country right now, and I believe him. I do. Rolling over teams. The offense is out there right now, and I don't think anybody can stop them.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Is it going to be Gabriel over the next 4 or 5 weeks? Or is it going to be...
I know.
Is it going to, but that's where they're at right now. Because that mentality, changes. We go from rebuild at 1-3 to all of a sudden at 2-3, the bell goes off, and he, in his head, probably drinking a beer at night, goes, hey, I can get this team to the playoffs.
Hey, listen,
but that's the way these coaches think.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
So let's just start right there. Malik Neighbors, Tyreek Hill, done for 2025. Think of the managers that invested the draft capital. Man, oh man, what to do?
Yeah, this is really tough. I had people message me, man, I had Neighbors and Hill, and I lost them both in the same week. That's tough. It's a tough day at the office for sure. And that's why you watch us here on FST, Fantasy Sports Today. We're trying to help you.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
At this event, people from Amazon and Alexa made it very clear that in addition to Sports Highlight coming up, you will be able to perhaps buy sports tickets to events, buy movie tickets, arrange fantasy football teams, and I think somewhere down the road, maybe not too far down the road, given the NBA on Prime deal, they will allow sports betting on the television set through Alexa Plus.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Tuesday morning, no better place to be than right here, right now on the Sports Grid Network on the early line. It's Donnie right side. It's Joe Ranieri. We got to bring in Adam Kaufman here because we need some help. There's Major League Baseball being played today, a doubleheader, 4:08 and 8:08 tonight. One team could be going home. One team could clinch a series tonight, or at least clinch control of a series. And a lot of fun to talk about, Adam. Thanks for joining the show this morning with us. Hey, hey.
Absolutely. How you guys doing?
Feeling good. Feeling good. Ranieri's loving life. I'm miserable right now, living in my Saturday, Sunday, Monday funk in the city of Philadelphia. But the bright skies are here. If you can bet and make some money to sort of counter some of those losses to your favorite teams, it all makes sense. So, Adam, let's get right to it today. 4:08 start, 9:03, 9:04 on the rotation. Seattle heads to Detroit. It's a 1-1 series. Gilbert versus Flaherty. The favorite, though, Seattle, at around a -132 to -135, depending where you're shopping at, and a total of 7.5. Seattle knocked off Scooble. Got a little bit of those tailwinds, as we like to say, heading to Detroit. What gives today in this baseball game for you?
Yeah, look, I've had this series backwards so far. I'm not surprised it's sitting at 1-1, but I figured the Mariners would take game one, the Tigers would take game two. Just looking at the pitching matchups, obviously we saw the reverse in a couple of low-scoring games, and you could justifiably say the under 7.5 is probably the play here again in this one, as we have Gilbert against Flaherty. Ultimately, I think Seattle prevails. I saw there's still a -130 out there. I like that, obviously, that much better. I think Seattle is just the better team, guys. I mean, this is a team that has won 5 of 6 on the road. The Tigers have dropped their last 7 at home. The Mariners hit righties very well. Flaherty has given up 13 runs his last 3 home starts. He's not pitched all that great. Pretty good in his lone playoff start, but it wasn't exceptional. He pitched well against the Mariners. That was back in July. It doesn't really mean anything at this point in time. As far as Gilbert, my only, I guess, kind of concern about Gilbert is the fact that he hasn't pitched in about 2 weeks, but he had a 2.30 ERA last month. He was excellent and has been excellent really for the last, at this point, 6-7 weeks that he has been on the hill. He last faced the Tigers a million years ago in April. So again, it doesn't really matter. I'm leaning into the team with the better offense, the better team, the team that is obviously in, just a better situation, I think, offensively, and has the better arm on the mound. But again, I won't be the least bit surprised if we get another 3-2 game or something in that vicinity.
I'm with you. I don't know why they waited to throw Logan Gilbert here into game 3 on the road is a little strange here. But I think, your point about it's been a hot minute with him. It's been a hot minute since Bieber's pitched as well. Yeah. And it's not like he pitched a ton coming off of, missing a season with the surgery and everything. Now almost 2 weeks between starts, has to go to Yankee Stadium here. What are you thinking we're getting tonight?
Well, Bieber, to your point, he's barely pitched in the last 2.5 years at this point in time. He didn't pitch this year at all before late August. So he's had, a month and a half or so under his belt, but that's after making only 2 starts all of last season. So I guess you could make the argument that he's fresh. I just think that, you look at this series and Rodon is considerably better than what you got from in his first playoff outing here of this particular postseason. So I expect him to be sharper. This game is in New York. There's an element of desperation on the part of the Yankees, down 2-0 to the Blue Jays. A couple of lopsided defeats too. You got shellacked if you're the Yanks both times. We've seen high scoring games, 11 runs, 17 runs. Absolutely like the over again in this. I can't believe that the books are still giving us a 7.5 out there for 2 games that have produced offensively the way they have, and that's not a function of who's been on the mound. The Yankees started Max Fried last time out. He's ace quality. He's Cy Young conversation. They still absolutely lit him up. And so I think we're going to continue to get a good chunk of runs in this game. I wouldn't even hesitate to play the over 7.5. But on top of that, I like the Yankees to respond. Now, listen, I don't like the Yankees. I'm a Boston guy. But if you're looking at the situation where I think ultimately you got a better pitcher on the mound, I don't think that much of Bieber in the first place, even though he's been kind of, I guess more consistent than not in the half dozen starts or so that he's had this year. I just think the desperation narrative with 2 great offenses comes into play. So I like the Yankees to win. I wouldn't really want to play the -160 or so on the money line. I figure if I'm going to lean into conviction, guys, I'm just going to chase the plus money, and that is New York on the run line, which is still around plus 145, plus 150. I think the Yankees get it done. They get it done comfortably here at home, and they make this an actual series.
Adam Kaufman here. We're talking to this morning on the early line. Nice weather conditions, too, in the Bronx with the wind blowing out to left field. We'll see if those bats translate from Toronto over to the Bronx and see if you can get a big bust-out night there for the New York Yankees. If we look at the price point here, Adam, of this series, the Yankees are a plus 400 here. The Toronto Blue Jays are a minus 550. Is there any life in either one of those bets? Because obviously the team that wins, if it's the Blue Jays, they're going to move on. But the Yankees, that plus 400 will get lower. Is there a true chance that the Yankees can run the table and win 3 straight games against Toronto?
I think it's possible. I mean, I know it's not apples to apples, but they dropped game 1 against the Red Sox in the wild card round and backs against the wall, had to win the next 2. Now this is 3, not 2, but even still, I think this is a New York team with its offense, with its pitching, is fully capable of reeling off a 3-game winning streak. Now, obviously, you get 2 at home, and then you got to go to Toronto if you can get that far and take that 1 on the road. It's not going to be easy. It's not the benefit of being at home for every game like they were in the wild card series. I still see some value in that number. It's not like it's a full unit play or anything like that, but I could justify just a little sprinkle because I just don't think, guys, Toronto is very good. I think what we've seen out of this offense here in these couple of games is misleading, somewhat fraudulent, a big time outlier. I will be shocked, whether this game, even if Toronto wins it today or this series ends up going 3 more days, I'll still be surprised if you get another offensive output out of Toronto that even closely resembles what we saw in the first 2 games of this series. This offense, it's, look, it put up runs in the regular season, but absent Bo Bichette, who, as we know, is not available, and some of the inconsistencies with some of the other guys in this lineup, I just don't think that continues. I think the Yankees are going to have to, power some on and win some lower scoring games.
Doubleheader today, 4:08 Seattle and Detroit. Once again, 8:08 p.m. Toronto and New York. Big stakes on the line. None bigger than Adam Kaufman breaking it all down with us here. We'll see if we can get some of that good luck here on the early line and win some of these wagers. No doubt about it. Adam, thanks for rising and grinding with us on the early line. We'll talk to you soon. As for Donnie and Joe, we'll close this show down next.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
I'm done with the Buffalo Bills, and I'm not upset about it because they look vulnerable. I cannot believe this team is 4-0 because they could easily be 1-3. They are on their heels, and I can't believe they have not 1 but 2 double-digit victories in games they could have very well lost.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Mike Trout, will he ask for a trade? And maybe I'm a bit of a Neanderthal for asking this, and people are going to say, listen, he's never leaving. I refuse to accept that we're just not going to get Mike Trout postseason baseball ever again. Because clearly when healthy, he can still do it. But he's also rarely healthy and still kind of expensive. It's complicated.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
Course setup, Bethpage, and how soft the greens were, how long it played. It definitely was an advantage for Europe from my mind, and they putted better.
Well, but do you think, in a weird way, that same setup is what allows the Americans to get back in it today? Because you do see a lot of those big putts made.
Yeah.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Fast-moving show here on a Tuesday morning. Why? Because we're having a lot of fun and the information is really good. But at this time of the show, we like to reach out to the public and say, which way would you like to go on a certain question that has been asked? Here's our Fave the Public poll. It's early. We know that. We like to give easy, simple questions out to the people to ask which way are they going on a certain game or also on a certain opinion. How do you see this poll? Go to @SportsGrid on our X account. We asked today, will the Yankees get eliminated tonight? There was 2 answers, yes and no. The Yankee haters, they're up early, Joe, and they're voting. And I voted with the public, 60.9%. Yes, that's me, Joe. How about you?
Wow, little faith here.
Haters.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Having said that, I would never bet them outside of the first 5, which is the only place that I would look to bet them. Outside of that, I can't help you here. I mean, that bullpen has had to do nothing but work, Donnie, for the first 2 games. They've had to use a lot of arms in that spot. Don't be shocked if things start to go haywire, that a lot of other starters start to take the mound in this game tonight. So while I can see where the public is going, my heart says I hope not, but the reality is I would never bet him beyond the first 5 innings anyway.
Yeah, by the way, Carlos Rodon, all hands on deck, obviously, for the Yankees. Let's see if he can get out of the 3rd inning tonight, or is it just mayhem that breaks loose and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has got 2 extra base hits over the first 4 innings in a way the Toronto Blue Jays go. But the public is saying yes, but again, there's a lot of hate out there for the Yankees that just want to see them get eliminated as opposed to the handicapping aspects of things where the Yankees are a heavier favorite tonight. We'll see how it plays out tonight in the Bronx. But you know what we need to do? Another 2-0 sweep should be on deck tonight. Here's bye. We got baseball. We got hockey. Which way is Joe Ranieri going tonight for his best bet?
Well, I mean, early start here tonight for the Major League Baseball playoffs. And you mentioned it, Donnie, 4:08 Eastern time. We'll get Seattle at Detroit. And I don't understand, unless they figured that this might be an actual elimination game, except they lost game 1. Seattle is throwing Logan Gilbert, who is by far their best pitcher that is on this roster. I mean, Brian Wu obviously didn't make the roster because he's injured. But Logan Gilbert is one of the top 5 pitchers in all of Major League Baseball, especially for what he has done here for Seattle this year. While the ERA splits are a little different, his xFIP that you talk about, Donnie, has been right up there with guys like Zach Wheeler for tops in the league. Doesn't walk a ton, misses a ton of bats. And here's the big thing, Donnie. Detroit can't hit right-handed pitching, especially power right-handed pitching. They haven't scored any runs thus far in the playoffs. They're not scoring any runs against Logan Gilbert either. I think Flaherty's experience will come into play for Detroit. That bullpen has been worked. They need Flaherty to show up big here. I like the under in the first 5. You can get 4. If you want to go plus money, you can go 3.5. I just don't see a ton of runs early on in this game at an early start with Seattle leaving the West Coast for the first time in a while. I'll look at that first 5 under, Donnie.
Yeah, another big ballpark, too. You always looked at that ballpark up at T-Mobile in the Pacific Northwest and say it's hard to hit home runs. Same thing technically with Detroit's ballpark. Cooler temperatures as well. We'll see how this plays out. But Joe's been eating on some of these unders, particularly in the first 5 innings. We'll see if that continues tonight, and we think that will. For me, I'm going to say, I'm not really a money line player. But if I take a look at a money line that's plus money, that's where I want to go. And yes, the Yankees are heavy favorites tonight. The Yankees are expected to win. But something just isn't clicking with the New York Yankees. They got boat raced in games 1 and games 2. And I understand we're changing venues. But I actually think Shane Bieber rested should be ready for this game. And Carlos Rodon, as I told you, the highest xFIP of the 4 pitchers on the card from August the 1st. Do I think it could be a close game? Yes, I do. Do I think we get runs in this game? Yes, I do. But I also know if Toronto jumps out to an early lead, things are going to get tense in the stands. Those guys aren't paying $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for their season tickets behind home plate to sit there and watch another Yankees loss where Boone goes, hey, we gave it our best shot, and Aaron Judge maybe next year. Nonsense. The Blue Jays turn the screws on the Yankees and eliminate them tonight, Joe. I'll take them on the money line.
Sounds like misery loves company here, Donnie. So I guess the Phillies and the Yankees can, make tea time together is what you're telling me.
Yeah, barnstorming the offseason. Go hit home runs in other ballparks. Talking to you, Kyle Schwarber. For Donnie Rightside and Joe Ranieri, that'll do it for another edition of The Early Line. We will be back bright and early tomorrow morning. See you then.